painting over white doesn't stop and doesn't take away the past. The past is still with us. That's the greatest part, is we get to look back onto the past canvas and learn from it. And we get to take it forward with us so that we can be the extraordinary us that we're capable of being. I want you to understand that if you don't believe that you're extraordinary, that you can be the everyday hero, that's okay. What I can tell you is that God does believe in you. God does believe that you are capable of being something greater than yourselves. You have a destiny. And if you don't trust yourself yet, that's okay. Put that trust into somebody else. Put that trust into God, because you can become something greater. Welcome back to the Prosperous Life Podcast. My name is Braiden Belnap. I'm a transformational life coach, entrepreneur, and each week I bring you a transformational message so that you can become your authentic self, create your vision for life, so that you can live a prosperous life while making an impact. This week, we're talking about transforming your world. This week, if you feel like there's a friend out there and you find value in creating your world and you feel like they could use some support creating their world, I would encourage you to share this podcast with them. Not only does it allow this podcast to reach more people, it allows me and you to make an impact together. With that in mind, let's go ahead and dive in. And really where this all comes from in transforming your world goes way back into my life. Where years and years ago, I was digging a hole. Have you ever dug a hole in your life? You see, transforming your world doesn't take time. It takes a moment. Our life is created by moments. And for a couple years there, I was in a habit of, I want to transform. But I'm not capable. I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of love. I'm not worthy of something greater. And I was changing, but change is inevitable. It will happen no matter what. Transformation is a deliberate choice where you make deliberate actions. For a long time, I wanted to be somebody different. Although I consistently valued myself as something that was less than what I was capable of being, which meant I hung around with people and had thoughts and language and emotions that equated to that value. And so even though I wanted something greater for my life, I consistently dug the hole. And it felt like I was getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, although it took a moment to transform everything. It took a moment to jump out of the hole. It looked so big. It felt like I was so deep, yet it was just a choice. That hole is created in your mind. And you can choose to be down in hell. You can choose to be at the surface of the world, or you can choose to be in the clouds looking down on life and being high on life. It's all a mentality. It's all what you value in life. Choose to transform your world, and your world will transform as long as you truly are committed, as long as you truly take the actions. You see, this is for you, whether you're in the hole, even as far as deep as hell, or you're on the surface. You're just kind of living life, going about it in a normal way, not doing anything crazy, just showing up to work, going home. Or this is for you if you're high on life. Every single day you wake up and you're grateful for life and nothing could go wrong. This is for you no matter what, because we've all been in the hole. We all been high on life, and we sure have all been here on earth, just living day to day. I'm very excited about today's podcast because, unfortunately speaking, most of you are created by the world. The world is creating your masterpiece, your canvas. And yet today you have the opportunity to paint white over the canvas that has already been given to you and painted for you. And you get to start over if you choose. You get to start over and start creating your world, start creating your canvas for life. It's all up to you on whether you consistently and continue to be created or if you choose to create the rest of your canvas in this world. Painting over white doesn't stop and doesn't take away the past. The past is still with us. That's the greatest part, is we get to look back onto the past canvas and learn from it. And we get to take it forward with us so that we can be the extraordinary us that we're capable of being. I want you to understand that if you don't believe that you're extraordinary, that you can be the everyday hero, that's okay. What I can tell you is that God does believe in you. God does believe that you are capable of being something greater than yourselves. You have a destiny. And if you don't trust yourself yet, that's okay. Put that trust into somebody else. Put that trust into God, because you can become something greater. God believes that you are extraordinary. God believes that you have a destiny, a calling, a reason why you're here. So go for it. This is your time. And it all begins with evaluating your life. Evaluating is the process of becoming aware of what you want in life, what you need. And as we go through this process, keep into consideration, for a very long time, I wanted to change. I wanted to transform. I wanted something greater for myself. I wanted love. I wanted to feel loved for myself and others. I wanted to feel like I was somebody. But I always wanted it. It was always someday. Well, what about today? It all becomes and comes down to your needs in life. You get what you need. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. You don't get what you see see what happen. Because if you're chasing something, you always will chase. You need to bring it to you. You need it in your life, and that's where it will become a thing. Unfortunately, most people are just going with the world and what they've told them to be, as we mentioned. My question to you and myself is, what's the difference between, let's say, a human and a robot? Because right now, there's really no difference. Humans are scared of robots, yet the only difference between a robot and emotion, or a human, is emotion. Most thoughts, most emotions, most everyday life is the same. The way you react, your behavior, your thoughts, the way you go about your day at work, the way you send emails, the way you text people, the way you communicate with people, the way you communicate with yourself, your emotions, humans are pretty predictable. They're robotic. They've been programmed, and then they stay the same. They're told what to do in this world. They're told when to have babies. They're told when to go on a mission. They're told what to believe in as far as religious reasons. They're told what their value is, and then they follow it. Robots, they're told what to do, who to be, how to react, how to behave, the way they should work, and they do it. The only difference between a robot and a human is when a human decides to transform, and then they transform. Because you don't need to run off of a program that was set for you. You can choose to transform that. Today, I want you to choose to transform one thing. I'm sure there's a lot of things that you would like to transform today. We're going to focus on one. This is a process that we can master with one, and you can bring into your other areas of life. This is one step at a time kind of journey. We're not looking to go from 1 to 100 and get so overwhelmed that we end up back at 1. We're changing our identity one step at a time. Understand that you do not need to follow the society standards that have been put on you. You don't need to follow your family standards. You don't need to follow your friends' standards. You don't need to follow your communities, your church's standards. You don't need to follow the nation's or the world's standards. There's a lot of people that have had hopes and dreams and thoughts about you, but the person's thoughts, hopes, and dreams that matter the most are your own. So make that a priority. Make that a priority that my internal is the most important part in this world, because everything is created internally. That which you value and that of which you ask of the world is what you're going to get in return. So ask and become something greater, and you will live a greater life. What's most important is that we don't wait until death. God has given you a beginning, middle, and an end for a reason. Whether somebody's life was a day or 150 years, we all have a beginning, middle, and end. We all have birth, we all have death, and we all have life that happens in the middle. And the majority of that is life. And if you wait all the way up until you're old, and then you decide to transform it, you still transform, although time is a factor. Our life is created moment to moment. Right now, you with me sitting here is a moment. And you can choose to make this moment something great, or you can just make this moment average and a moment that you may even forget. This is a moment in time that you can choose to transform. When you're on your deathbed, not that you don't have any more time, although you are limited. When you ask people what they regret, especially in their older age, it's usually not the things that they did do. It's usually not the mistakes. It's not to say that people don't regret their mistakes. It's not to say that people don't regret certain things that happened in life. But the number one thing mentioned is the things that they didn't do. So we can take that, look into the future, evaluate what we would want before we were dead, and bring it into the now. You see, we don't have to wait until we get to death to understand, I want to build a business. I want to do a YouTube channel. I want to be the next president of the United States. I want to be in government. I want to be an artist. I want to be the dad that was there every single game, or the mom for my kids' sporting events. I want to teach the world this certain thing that I've mastered and I learned along in my life. We don't have to wait till death. We don't have to wait till our deathbed. We don't have to wait for somebody else to ask us, what do you regret that you wish you did in life? We can ask ourselves that now. We can understand what our wants are, what our needs are, and how we want to live life today. And that's the greatest thing. So ask yourself, and let's focus on one. What am I not doing today that I know I need to be doing for myself and the world? What am I not doing that I need to be doing for myself and the world? What is it that you want? What's that one thing? Great. other questions that you could ask yourself. There's so many powerful questions. When you ask questions, your brain finds answers. It's just the way it works. You don't tell your brain something and then it goes and finds a different answer. You told your brain what the answer is. So just ask yourself, is it a certain amount of money that you need to be making? Ask yourself, if you need to make 1,000 instead of 1,000, how do I make $10,000? How can I make $10,000? What do I want most in life? What do I want most in my career? What do I want most in my business? What do I want most in my relationships? What do I need in those areas? What do I need to transform to become a better version of myself? What have I carried on through childhood that is no longer serving me? Is there something that I'm doing today that I shouldn't be doing? If so, what? There's so many questions that you can ask to find one thing to transform your life. You may not know now, but when you ask yourself the questions, you will be given the answer. So don't hesitate to ask yourself the questions. When you ask yourself questions, your world and your mind expands. When your world and your mind expands, you begin to see the world for what it is. And you begin to become your authentic self, which allows you to show up for the world the way they need you, the way the world needs you, and the way, most importantly, you need yourself. And once you figure out that one thing we want to understand, being empathetic for others, it's also important for yourself. And it's not just having that understanding and feeling of where we're at. We're really looking deeper underneath that emotion. Once you're okay to be honest with yourself and you understand yourself, you can transform anything in your life. Unfortunately, people believe this is just the way I am. This is just the way I am. No, this is not the way you are. Luckily for me and you, that can be changed. It can be transformed. It's simply a deliberate choice. You're not, the way you are today can be different next moment. And the next moment, and the next moment, and the next day or the next week. Again, every day is created by moments, which means that your life and your world is created by moments. And if you're successful moment to moment, you're more likely to be successful in your life with the ways that you determine those rules for yourself. And once you're okay to be honest with yourself, no lying to yourself, you're trusting to yourself, you're committed to yourself, and you have self-respect to follow through, anything can be transformed. You see, everything, the way you are today, everything a part of you has served you. There's not one part about you that has not served you. Doesn't mean it's serving you today. Just because there's a part of you that was fun and exciting then, or a way that was freeing to you in a moment in time in your past, or it's a way that you protected yourself mentally in childhood or from a relationship, doesn't mean that's serving you today. So yes, we can be grateful for the way we protected ourselves in the past, the way we used to have fun, the way we used to think. That doesn't mean it's serving you anymore. So the question is, now that you're aware of what you need to transform, are you willing to understand it so deeply that you're committed to transforming it or not? Because being aware and understanding it, it's not going to be enough. As we get further into this podcast, we'll really recognize where the results take place. Although if you're not willing to go into such a deep level, It's like picking a weed. If you miss some roots, guess what? The weed is going to grow back. So are you willing to go deep with me in this podcast? Yes or no? And it's not a maybe. It's either hell yes or hell no. There's really no in between. So yes, whatever you chose to transform today, thank it. Thank you for serving me at this time in my life. Thank you for serving me, for helping me with this specific situation. I'm very grateful for you. And if it feels weird talking to yourself that way, give this emotion, this thought, this action, this behavior a name. Give it something positive or negative, or scratch that. Give it a name that represents what you're transforming and what resonates best if you don't feel like you can just talk to that emotion or thought. Think it. Have gratitude. Truly have the sense of gratitude of how it served you. And now be willing to understand that emotion and ask it questions. When we understand the bigger picture holistically, we can pinpoint different things of the picture. It's just not one line. When you have a thought or when you have an emotion or a behavior you want to transform, it's a picture. It came from something, and it created this picture of life to you and why it was good to bring it forward. So ask yourself these questions. Is this thought coming from me? Is this behavior coming from me? Is this emotion coming from me? What makes me think this? What makes me have this emotion? What makes me get triggered by this? Where did this thought come from? Where did this emotion come from? When you're asking these questions, you begin to understand where your thought, emotion, behavior came from. It most likely was something that we learned in childhood. You know, the ages of 0 to 4 is when you're the most impacted, per se. When you begin to acquire those subconscious beliefs and behaviors that you do without even thinking about it. And once you understand and you have the understanding and the awareness of and where it's coming from, let's take a deep dive of the pain and the pleasure. So just to stop for a moment in your process, I'll bring out the process in mine. When my parents allowed us to become, or I should say not allowed us, but let us know that they were getting a divorce, truly I developed this belief in my mind, which was me, that I didn't know or understand or think I was capable of love. And so for a long time, I went and searched and acted and wanted to get results to drive love to myself. I thought that working hard equaled results, which equaled love to me. And I was trying to prove to the world that I was capable and lovable for who I was. And when I understand where it comes from, I understood that behavior and my thought process and the emotion so much more. That I became aware of why I was working so hard, where it was coming from, and the pain that it was creating me. I was working so hard that my relationships suffered. Yet, I felt love when I achieved results. Yet it was immediate fulfillment. When I got sales, when I got a result, when I started a business, when I finished a book, when I finished a course, when I was achieving these results, it fed my dopamine, which allowed me to feel loved in the moment. Yet it was essentially, you could call it a drug. It fed the dopamine I needed to make me feel fulfilled. Yet it was being done for the wrong reasons. It was meant to make me feel loved. Now that I've transformed that, I've understood the pain, and I've understood the pleasure of transforming that. I now get to go through my coaching, teaching people how to live a prosperous life in a way that I know that I'm loved. I love myself. I love the world. And I love you guys, which allows me to show up every Sunday, filming day, or whenever I choose to serve you guys out of the love in my heart that I want to do it, not because I feel obligated to do it. And it's allowed my relationships in life to flourish. It's allowed them to evolve into something much greater and extraordinary. It's allowed me to develop relationships that are fun and exciting and that I get to look forward to doing things with, while I can also come and serve in a way that I want to and work hard. It doesn't take away my work ethic. I still work a lot, but it's not out of the obligation. It's out of that I know when I can turn off work and I know when I can show up to work. So let's focus on you. The one thing you've chosen to transform today. What is the pain that it's bringing into your life? Is it pain emotionally to you? Is it pain thought-wise? Is there a Karen that's being really mad to you, mad and irritating and frustrated with you in the back of your head all the time? What's the pain? Are you not having the relationship with your kids that you want? Or are you not having the relationship with your parents that you want? Are you not living life the way you choose? Do you not like your day every single day? Are you not being the artist that you know you're capable of becoming? Are you not following the career because a comment somebody made, whether a stranger, society, family, friends? Are you not doing it because somebody didn't believe in you? Today, I want you to recognize that even if you have nobody, and I mean nobody, like no parents, no family, sisters, brothers, friends, it's you. And when I say you don't have anybody, it means you're surrounded in a situation and an environment that doesn't allow you to be you. Well, and I'm not saying it's not hard. I'm not saying that that's frustrating. What I am saying is that I believe in you. Because all of us listening to this is capable of becoming the next hero in the world. And when I say hero, I'm not talking about Superman or Spider-Man or Batman. Those superheroes are great, and you're capable of becoming something just as equivalent. But our everyday heroes add up to be something so much more. So be your hero today, which will allow you to be an everyday hero for the world and your community and your family. Now, the pleasure. You get to transform a thought. You get to transform Karen into being the Karen that is so nice and loving to you, giving you hugs, laughing with you, having a good time. You get to transform your emotions to where you feel fulfilled. You know, when you reach the top of the mountain, it's just absolutely beautiful, the view, everything, and you fulfilled, like, I just climbed this mountain. You get to feel that way every single day. And yet, it comes down to moments in your life that you choose to feel that way. That's not when I climb the mountain, get to feel this way. You can, again, God gave you birth, life, and death. Most of your life is in the life part of things, obviously. Just like a mountain, you start from the beginning, the middle, and then the end. And when you climb the mountain, the person that enjoys the process is going to achieve so much more in life because they fulfilled every single day, and you deserve that. So based upon the pain and the pleasure that you've understood today, are you committed to transforming? Hell yes or hell no. There is no middle. There's no maybe. It is hell yes or hell no. All right, now you have the awareness. You have the understanding. Are you committed to transforming or not? Hell yes or hell no. Okay, so let's transform this. For me, going back to my example, what I wanted to transform was feeling loved. That's really what it came down to, was the value of love. And that's what I was chasing. And that's what my surface actions were getting me to my core value of love. It was just done through the wrong action and behavior. So now the question is, instead of work, how do I get my love? Right? Well, for me, it was work results equal love. So I had the quiet and had to truly deep dive into this of what equaled love and true love. And to me, it was actually a meaningful relationship with myself first. So I plucked the weed of working to feel loved, and I filled it in with a flower of my choice of creating time for myself to learn who I was, to learn who my authentic self was. I gave myself time. And you moms, you dads out there, you people working 80 hours a week, working out, things of that nature, and you live a busy life, that's okay. Even if it takes 5 minutes, are you willing to pluck this weed and plant a flower and give yourself 5 minutes? It may not be a meaningful relationship with self that you need. That was mine. You may need something different. So find that thing. And once you transform that, we now can evolve into the action, and then evolving the action when the action doesn't work. This is where you're going to bring in your results of life. If you are aware and you evolve, great. If you don't take action, you don't transform, and you don't evolve, you will not get the results you want in life, period. Most people are aware of something in their life that they don't like, yet they don't transform. Again, change is inevitable. Things are going to change in life. Transformation does not happen unless you choose. And this is not you today. You don't need to be like most people. You can transform if you choose. The question is, will you choose? Will you do that with me? Will you love life? Because I'm ready to love life with you. I'm ready to transform with you. I'm ready to not hold your hand through the process. I'm here to walk by your side. Are you willing to walk by your side? Because you don't only have me, you also have God on your side of things. So what's your weed? Have the understanding again. Bring that awareness and the understanding in here. What's your weed? See yourself. Go down to the ground and pick the weed. Get all the roots. It might be long roots. It might be short roots. Identify what it is. How deep is it? Does it go into your childhood? Is it rooted in you? Pick everything. Now walk over and see yourself throw it in the trash can, because that's where it belongs. Now, you go in. You're in the mountains. And there's a field of flowers. different colors, different lengths, different petal patterns. Now go and choose the flower of your choice. See the colors, see the way it's patterned, everything, and go ahead and carefully pick up the flower with love. Be gentle and take it and go and fill it where the weed was. You see, we don't want to create a void. We want to pick the weed, but we don't want to leave an empty void. We want to fill it up with something amazing, with something extraordinary. Now, plant the weed firmly. Now, every day you get to love this flower. The weed may try to come back. The weed may come back. Consistently love this flower. Consistently water this flower. Consistently give this flower the food it needs. Consistently walk out every single day to this flower and let the flower know you love it, that you care about it, that you recognize how it served you and how it is serving you. Now, what is this flower? What action can you take? A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So what is the next action? What action can you take to transform this? And once you take that, have an understanding of what that action is, don't hesitate to take that action today. And as you take that action every single day, maybe you're not getting the results that you fully want. Be willing to evolve that action and consistently take that action and evolve. That way you can live the life that you choose. With that in mind, people ask, what is the moment that your life transformed, Braiden? I was sitting there on a couch, extremely drunk and high. And I had a thought, but it didn't feel like my thought. It felt like something much greater. And it said, go to the bathroom. I walked to the bathroom. I look in the mirror, and a wave of lightness comes over to me, and I'm no longer high, no longer drunk. And in that moment, I heard a voice say, either you will transform before you graduate high school, or you will die. And my shivers throughout my body go crazy when I say that. And before this moment happened, I wanted, as I mentioned, I wanted to transform so badly. I felt like I was worthy of something greater. In this moment, I recognized that someone out there believed in me. That's the moment the journey began to transforming. What I can tell you is you don't need an angel. You don't need anything else other than a moment to choose that you transform. Every hero story has a transformational moment. This can be your moment. With that in mind, I want to thank you so much for coming today. I want to thank you for taking the time and showing up for myself, you, and the world today. If you enjoyed this podcast, go to the podcast list above, and you'll be able to take a look at all the other podcasts we have out with the Prosperous Life Podcast. Go to the show notes in the descriptions for any basic, important information. With that in mind, subscribe, leave a review. I love hearing from you guys, seeing how I can do better, seeing things that I do right. And go ahead and follow me and subscribe to me at Braiden Belnap on social media. Reach out to me. Whenever you guys reach out to me and let me know your takeaways as well as the things I can do better, it excites me to show up every single week to consistently serve and be better for myself. With that in mind, have a wonderful rest